I'm serious. I know y'all don't want to hear this, but I have proof for this, bro. Deltarune Chapter 4 is some Okay, it's not even close to how good 1, 2, 3, and 5 are. Now, keep in mind, I have not played any of these chapters, okay? I'm just kidding. Okay, let's get into this. Why the other ones are good briefly before we get into chapter 4. Number 1, it's just funny, bro. It has charm. It was mostly made by one dude. It just sets the precedent that this game is just not going to be a normal game, and Lancer is the GOAT, okay? Number 2, some of the best character writing, right? We have the weird route. We have Noelle, all of this type of stuff, and it actually develops the story for you. It sets the precedent that nothing is off limits in terms of the story, in terms of twists and turns and that type of guidance and all of that type of stuff. 3, this one might be my favorite. I'm biased. I don't think it's the best one. I just think it's my favorite. It's actually fun, bro. It has good gameplay. It's the first chapter to have like solid gameplay. Not that that matters a ton for a game like this. Tenna is just amazing. It's a good little break from all the seriousness while still developing the characters, the story. 4, we'll get to it. Let's just say that. 5, no spoilers. What is that? It's a car. It's not a spoiler. This. Not sure on that one. Really, really, really fun gameplay. Again, that's not really necessary for a game like this, but it's so much fun. I love this one. I love the 2D sections. Sorry about the spoiler. It's funny. It's goofy. There's a big twist on the whole narrative, but again, no cars. 4, let's get into it. Why is Deltarune Chapter 4 some Well, let's see. I made an iceberg, right? You can't have one of these genres without an iceberg. Number 1, the gameplay. The gameplay is not very important. It's in order of the iceberg of like how important they are. With a show like, with a game like this, it doesn't have to be the best gameplay ever because you're doing so much with everything else. But let's just get into this graph that I made. Number 1, it's mostly made by one person, so the gameplay isn't crazy, good. But it's the first part of the game. You're getting used to the mechanics and stuff. And 2, I would say, is still establishing the loop, but it gets creative. There's those car little puzzles, the mouse puzzles. The queen fight is super creative. 3 and 5 are like this. Yo, we got a whole team now. We got a budget. Let's try to make it not only funny and interesting, but funny. You know what I'm trying to say. And then 4 is just walk around for 5 hours, climb sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we have ideas. And then this one, they're like, climbing? I don't know. But actually, let's get into some good things from 4 before I talk about the gameplay. Really dive into that. You know what I'm saying? Jack-Stein fight was awesome. The Hornet Silk Song mentioned, this dropped me to my freaking knees. This was crazy. I cannot wait for this to happen. Not sure why it hasn't happened yet. The Weird Route stuff almost rivals 2, bro. The Weird Route stuff is genuinely sick. Like, genuinely, it's so interesting. This moment, bro, when we meet Carol for the first time, chills, bro. The Black Knight or the Roaring Knight is literally like, yo, I'm sending someone. Carol walks in, chills all over my body. It starts snowing inside of my room, IRL. It's crazy. This moment, as bad as it was awesome. This whole bit, bro, Noelle's house, maybe the best part of Chapter 4, and that is crazy to say. Best part of the game. And that is crazy to say because Chapter 4 is some But it has some of the best scenes in the entire game. Noelle's house was so peak, bro. I'll never forget that. There's the graph again. I'm really good at making slides. Climbing. It's the main gimmick. It's cool compared to 1 and 2. It's really good. But compared to 3 and 5, where we have the same budget, because of the team and stuff, it's pretty much nothing, bro. 3 had these game shows, man. 3 had the boards. 3 had bow, 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 bow. 5 had platforming. It had this, it had that, it had bow, 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 it had that. And what did 4 have? Again, this is not that important. It's the top of the iceberg. It doesn't really matter. Climbing was good. It was fine. But really, why is there no gameplay to back up? Basically, the gameplay is not that important. But if we're going to do a chapter like this where we're just literally like, okay, guys, here's a bunch of information. Here's some twists. Here's some stories, stuff. Why am I walking around with nothing to do for like 60% of it in the Dark World? The first 20% of this chapter was peak. The church, Noelle's house was awesome. I loved that part. Pretty much all of the Dark World is kind of some And then the last 10% of it, they're just like, oh yeah, also here's all this information we forgot to tell you during the time that you've been in the Dark World. I'm like, at least give me some gameplay to back that up. You know what I'm saying? Number 2 on the iceberg is the Titan. Now, this has the best sprite work I've ever seen in my life, okay? I don't want to hear anything about... Okay, maybe not that, and maybe not that. But the sprite work for this, shocking. I don't think anything in 5 even rivals it. It was crazy. It's so good. Shout out to whoever did this. I'm not sure who it is. Though it wasn't visually, this was the most anticlimactic thing of all time. I'm not gonna... Like the Roaring Knight is all up in our grill for this chapter. And then we meet them, or we meet the Titan or whatever, and we're just like, it looks cool, and it looks big, and it looks powerful, and but the actual fight itself is structured so weirdly. I don't really remember, if you're looking here, I don't really remember how it ended. I should have looked this up before I started recording, but why did it just low-key end at like 80%? Why was there not really any fun acts? Why was it just like, yeah, low-key try to damage it, and then, oh, it actually ends at 80%? Why was it super easy at some points, and then extremely hard and frustrating for others? It was very samey, it was very repetitive. Like, the actual fight itself, why did it end like that, and why did it play like that? It was just kind of anticlimactic, it was just kind of dumb. Compared to, like, the Tenna fight, which is so much variety, and it's hard, but it's fair, and the Flowery fight, even I would argue, is the same thing. Like, what are we doing? Basically not a huge deal, looked awesome, but structured weirdly, kind of anticlimactic, and it felt like we didn't really do anything. But I think that was intentional. Like, I think it was trying to be like, this thing is huge, and you're just a kid. You're not beating this. You know what I mean? Like, I do like that feeling, and we'll get into that more later. That chapter 4 does well, is like, am I still recording? No, I'm not. Okay. I do like that feeling. And the fight does really give you that feeling of like, oh my gosh, we're up against, like, we're just kids, bro. We can't do this. You know what I mean? Before, it's just a little game show, and you know what I mean? And this is when it gets real, and I love that feeling a lot. 3. This one hits home for me. This, even though it's in the middle of the iceberg, bro, this might be my worst one. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm trying to keep it a little bit unbiased, but no, I'm not. Look, Ger's son. Free guy. Ignore everything. I don't know why I did that. Main guy. He's the main guy. Like Tenna, like Flowery, like Queen. You know, he's the kind of the main guy. Not necessarily antagonist, this or that. You could say the Roaring Knight is. Whatever. He's a main new character. And he sucks. He has 3 bits, bro. 3 jokes. And all 3 of them are how old he is. 3 bits like bad graphics, 8-bit, 16-bit. Who got me on that? Him plus Susie was good, I guess. That was an interesting arc. I love when we develop Susie. Susie's amazing. And I like how he kind of encourages her in a very unique way. Like, he's not just like, you can do it. You know what I mean? I do really enjoy that. His arc was good, I guess, but who he actually was interesting. But spending time with him was a chore, is what I meant to write. He's not funny. He's not interesting. I don't really care. Who he is in terms of, like, the pastor and stuff is interesting. Like, he fits that puzzle piece of the story very well, but it's like they forgot to actually give him something likable. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just me. I just don't like spending time with him. Why did we spend the whole chapter with this dude who didn't do anything or say anything interesting or funny or... Do you know what I mean? I know I'm wrong. I hear you saying it. I just don't like him. Compared to Tenna, bro, or Flowery, are we dead? Like, can we be for real? Oh my gosh, that's the next thing I wrote, and I just said that off dome. But I did not do the secret fight, and I only watched it on YouTube, so disregard everything I am saying, if you want. Otherwise, just genuinely feels like they added him to fit the puzzle piece. I low-key said all of that. Basically, this is kind of a big deal for me. I don't think it is for most people. I think he rubbed off the wrong way. Low-key, I'm sure it's just me, but he wasn't very entertaining or that well written. He just felt like passable for who he had to be in terms of like who he's related to in the story and this type of stuff. At least his music was good. Next, the pacing. Actually, this is the worst one for me. Don't speak to me. Are we dead? I forgot I put that. I was genuinely going to say that. Look, I want to talk to you guys for a second. I've never done that before. The big picture of this chapter, genuinely think about it. We have the church, or we wake up in the house with Susie. That's awesome. We go to the church, awesome. Noel's house, awesome. And then we're in the dark world for like 4 hours, 2 of them, I guess, which was interesting. That was actually pretty cool. And then we go to the light world for 10 minutes, ending, and, you know, we'll get to the ending. But this is the big picture of the chapter, and I think it's wrong. Not wrong, sorry. I think it's a bad decision. Like, before they even probably finished chapter 2, when they were storyboarding this freaking chapter, I think that's where they went wrong. I don't like the big picture idea that they have. So before I really get into it, let me pitch you an idea to kind of fix the pacing. This is going to ruin everything else. This is a horrible idea, okay? Ignore the lore issues with my idea, the gameplay issues, all of that. It is a horrible idea. But just pacing. I just want to put this in your head. How would this affect the pacing? Chapter 4 is awesome. Or excuse me, the light world of chapter 4 was awesome. It was Like I said, it was like one of my favorite parts of the entire game. But it was kind of a lot at once, honestly. Just being in Noel's house and learning all that information and seeing the katana and seeing the phone call and seeing Asgore doing this and that. It was a lot at once. I don't think that takes away from it. It's just like, if this is the meat of your chapter, why are we shoving it in 20 minutes? You know what I mean? So, hear me out. And don't hear me out, but hear me out. What if we're in the light world and then we go to the dark world quick? But then we pop back into the light world. Now we're in the church or something. Go to the dark world quick. Pop back. Now we're in Noel's house. Go to the dark world quick. Pop back to the light world. Oops, I did 2 light worlds in a row. Maybe then the Titan is right here. You know what I mean? In terms of pacing, this ruins everything because is there multiple fountains? It's like this is a horrible idea. But in terms of pacing, since we were just walking around in chapter 5, there was no gameplay, there was no gimmick. In terms of pacing, bro, imagine if we popped in and out and we learned all of that stuff. Maybe Noel's house is like 4 of these. And we learned all of that stuff in chunks. Like, instead of like an awesome chunk at the beginning, 80% of chunk of nothing, and then a slightly awesome chunk at the end. What if we spread that out and cut like 50% of the dark world and then just made a bunch of fountains or something? Again, it doesn't make any sense. But just think of the pacing. Like, why did we have all this information to share and we just shoved it and then put nothing in the middle? Is basically what I'm saying. That's probably my biggest issue with this chapter. Literally, it was boring. What happened in it was awesome, but it was just boring, okay? Am I still recording? No, I am not. Next. Oh, basically, again, this is a horrible idea for every single other reason, but it would be just better for the pacing and a better chapter and more fun and more digestible, and it could rebuild. Whoops. We did get all of the info and cool stuff in Noel's house / the church, and equally cool moments, kind of, in like 10% of the dark world. Like, all the prophecy stuff was cool. The Rousey moment was cool. But there's just no gameplay to back it up. If we're going to put walking around so much, which, first of all, why are we putting that? For 60% of the chapter, we're just walking and moving some pianos and climbing, I guess. Let's get at least some gameplay in there, or let's just cut that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, big picture. What is this chunk? What is the meat of this chapter? And why is it just kind of nothing? Like, you know what I'm saying? We could have communicated everything we learned in that 60% in like 10 minutes. The ending. This is at the bottom of the iceberg. It shouldn't be. I don't know why I thought this was the worst part. This moment right here, on the surface, it sucked. I'm not going to lie, walking away from playing this chapter for the first time and seeing this moment, I was pissed off. But it's awesome. Obviously, it makes the player like feel like it's stupid, but in terms of the actual story, and like, it's stupid, but it is actually interesting. Develops Toriel's character, and it develops Chris's home life, which is something we kind of need a lot more of, I think. I'm very, at least it's just me who's very interested in that, like growing up with Noel and them, like being in Azrael and all this stuff. I enjoy this decision. I didn't at first, but you know what? This is funny. It's a bit, but it's also like, okay, think about this. You know what I mean? But all of this, bro, the ending, bro, this was fine. Why does she have a sword? Is it Noel? This sucked. Oh, there's a tragedy. We wouldn't let that happen, right? I'll get into that. I don't even know what this is a picture of. This was good. We already talked about this. I think this is from chapter 5, genuinely. Like, I do not remember that. Those are the same pictures. I'm less intrigued and more unsatisfied, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we ended chapter 5 on all these questions, and I'm intrigued. And this one, I can't really explain why, so maybe it's just invalid. And this should not be at the bottom of the iceberg. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm just kind of unsatisfied. There's a difference between making a bunch of unanswered questions to keep the player intrigued and just shoving a bunch of stuff at the end after hours of nothing. Maybe this would have been better if some of this stuff was happening as we're popping in and out. Again, never mind. That's a horrible idea. But maybe this would have been better if it was more spaced out. Maybe this I feel like this whole tragedy thing could have been done better. I like the idea of us wondering what the tragedy is. I think that's a cool idea, but I just am like, really? I don't know. I can't explain it. That means it's a bad point. I get it. The ending was fine, but but it was my least favorite. Basically, I did. Why did I put this one at last? It doesn't matter that much, but it's definitely my least favorite. I love how it makes everything feel more impactful. That is the thing to say that is very good about this ending, is like, dang, bro, we are some kids, and this is an actual thing, And we like this, we low-key just lost. Like someone's gonna low-key die or something, you know what I mean? I love that. I love that we're communicating that. Am I still recording? Yes. But I just don't like how it throws 1 grillion things at you just to not address them in 5, which is probably a 5 problem, to be frank, Ocean. So yeah, this one isn't actually that serious. Maybe I do enjoy it, but I'm just like, really? I was just unsatisfied. And then I played it again. I did play all of these chapters twice. I think I played 1 and 2 a couple times. But I played all these chapters twice. No, I did not do the Gerson fight. And no, I did not do the Mike fight. Okay? But I watched them. So hang out with me if you want to. Basically, overarching chapter 4. Why do I think it is some I'm sorry. I know you don't like me now. I'm a Toby Fox Glazer 2. I get it. Chapter 4 is good. Some of the best game ever. But compared to everything else, I think it's some Y'all are just going to invalidate my opinion because cool story stuff happened in this chapter. But it's a game. We have to remember, gang. This is a game, not a TV show with commercials for 30 minutes in the middle. That's a crazy criticism. That's not true at all. But it's a game, bro. And this just wasn't a fun game. Chapter 4 was not a fun game. And it didn't set out to be. And it did not need to be. If there's one chapter that didn't need to be, it's this one. But can I have fun playing a game? You know it is some when half of it could have just been at the end of chapter 3 after the night takes tutorial, like it was just some information and not that much substance. I don't really stand on that, but I do stand on the last part. All chapter 4 was information. There was not any substance to back it up in terms of game. You know what I'm saying? I love Deltarune, but I truly believe that this is its weakest point. And people are just blinded by the plot twists. But also, if you have fun doing something and you enjoy something just because, then that's valid. If you love chapter 4, that's okay. It's fun. It's a good game, isn't it? I love Deltarune. We all do. I just, you keep liking what you like, even if you don't have a reason, or if you do have a reason, which most of y'all probably do. This is just why I think it is some awe compared to the amazing gameplay of 5, the writing of 3, and also amazing gameplay, secret stuff of 2, weird route, whatever, and the humor and charm of 1. Good night. Do not check out my other channel, because I do not want to be flooded with dislikes for my controversial hot takes and opinions. Do I have any closing statements? Yes. The last thing I want to say